Blog Talk Radio.
Why don't you set me free? Why you want to be my enemy? This is not right for me. Why won't you let me be? Chances are we will unite. Why don't you give up the fight? Why don't you let me be? Why you want to be my enemy? Whoa. This is not right. Why can't you see? Oh, chances are we will unite. Why don't you give up the fight? Chances are we will unite. Why don't you give up the fight? Why don't you set me free? Why in the world you want to be my enemy? Oh, this is not right for me. Chances are we will unite. Whoa. Why don't you give up the fight over in Jamaica? Oh, Kaya man have been accusing for a living. Every time he plant a seed, sheriff in town said dig up that weed. Whoa. Why won't you let we be? Why you want to be my enemy?
Well, hello, everybody. This is Ravinda with MZN Indie Radio. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's a really hot Friday night out there, and I hope that everybody's somewhere nice and cool with a glass of wine or iced tea or whatever your flavor is. We got a great show ahead of us. We're going to be talking with a very, very, very talented and, soulful reggae artist, Mr. Jahmings Maccow, and I'm going to read you a little bit about him, and then I believe we have him on the line, and we're going to bring him in so we can talk about his career. Jahmings rose from the quiet island of Anguilla and was influenced from infancy by music coming from the Mississippi Delta and the Caribbean. He rose to become one of New York's toughest reggae acts during the 80s with bands like Catch a Fire and the Enforcers. In the early 90s, he moved to L.A. and was branched out to become more of a rhythm and blues rock guitar As the years have passed, Jahmings' songwriting has become more polished and personal, and he tells stories and spins yarns and asks big questions, the type typically reserved for the inner workings of the brain. So he's really deep. He preaches peace and love, which is what we want to hear right now, and is a true voice of dying generation of reggae music. So I want to hope that everyone there who has questions will hold off till a little bit later in the show, but you can call us at 1-347-237-5050, and please be sure to join the chat room if you want to pop in there and throw your questions at me. For now, we're going to go ahead and bring our guest on.
Maccow.
Hello, is this Jahmings?
Yeah, man, this is Jahmings. How's everything?
How are you?
Great. Just hanging out here at, my home studio, Rebels Production.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to have you on the show, finally.
Yes, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem. So tell us a little bit about the beginning of your career, because you've had a longevity of career status in the industry. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, how this all begin? This begin, in the beginning, there was the word, Jah said there was the word, right? And the word is Jah. And, if you break up the words in intervals, and you combine those intervals together, then you have music. So you playing music from the beginning still, from Zion, come to on a little island, come to on earth on a little island called Anguilla, because, you have to have a little plot of land to come to in this world, or on earth, so, that's where I come to, Anguilla, and from there, like I said, everything started.
So what was it that influenced you?
Influence? Well, like I said, it's not an influence thing, it's a duty, you come to, like I said, I come to, knowing music, from the beginning. But the influence really come, you start listening to, my mother really, and, she was singing blues coming out of the Delta, So that was the, if you want, in earth times, that was the influence right there, starting from that point and position.
And when did you start preparing for your first album?
That started my first album, my first professional album. That started in New York City, really. When I was back in New York City, I was at the theater, and as a youth working at the theater, 42nd Street. And, I was playing my acoustic guitar one evening in the lobby, and this youth came downstairs, from upstairs, and, and said, "Hey, man, I like what you're doing, sound good, And he said, "I think, you should really go in the studio." I said, "Wow, go in the studio." So yeah, man, the song that you're playing right there, you're ready to go in the studio, So that was the start, really. That was really the start, and from there we went in the studio, and we recorded first single, Rebels, and that's where everything started.
Okay, so when you created your music for your first album, what type of messages did you want to give to the people that were listening to your music?
Well, first album, things handed down. To tell you the truth, when you start off first, your music, like I said, handed down, given to you, because I just deliver them. At the time, you didn't have a really time span as to to deliver a particular message, because tell you the truth, even back then the message was hidden from me. So
okay.
It's over. It's over a period of time. As a matter of fact, it's over a period like New Way is one of my first CDs. actual CDs. You know, I had several singles before that, and on that CD, you know, I mean, you know, you had songs, you know, that spanned like maybe 25, 30 years to put that together. Man Redemption, the same thing, you know, because the title Man Redemption, actually that the title song for Man Redemption started out in New York City, but it wasn't completed until a few years ago. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, so you know, putting an album together. I mean, I don't just, you know, come together and say, okay, well, let me just put an album together. You know what I mean? The album come together from, you know, maybe over a span of of time, really. You know, putting, you know, working on different tunes and stuff like that, and you know, that's how I normally put my last couple of albums together.
Okay. And let me ask you: Are you collaborating with any other artists in any of your projects?
At the moment, no. Not at the moment, no. I did that in the past. You know, I did that when I first came to California. One of my singles, I think I did a single yesterday. That single I did for a record company on here called let's see if I can remember that record company. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but yeah, I collaborated. I did some collaborating with that label at that time, and since that time, I haven't did too much with anybody else. You know what I mean? In terms of collaboration, I work with my brethren Paul, but on a few things, but not really. I mean, not really sit down and put a whole album together, collaborate and put a whole album together.
Mhm. Now, were there any other artists that you liked that you were listening to?
What do you mean? You
Any
mean
other artists? You know, yeah, at the time, was there any artists like that you were listening to outside of your own music?
Yeah, man, I listen to a whole heap of artists. I mean, you know, a whole heap of artists. You know, influence. I mean, I'm influenced by the Wailers. You know, Dennis Brown. You know, Jackie Opel. I mean, you know, even though they're from a longer time, you know, I listen to a few artists on, you know, artists that I really like that influence me. You know, I listen to enough artists from the past.
Now, did you ever think about, you know, making any song projects about things that were going on in the world? You know, we've had a lot of things happen, especially recently when we had the earthquake in Haiti and other earthquakes in other countries, and, you know, a lot of the turmoil that is going on. Do you ever think about writing any songs about those things?
Well, things are always going on, you know. I mean, and like I said, I mean, you know, the way we see time, you know, I mean, in terms of society, human beings in society, we see times, you know, in a limited way, you know what I mean? So, in terms of writing songs, you know, as for what's going on, these things going on, you know, these things started a long time ago. So the music just, you know, the music is handed down, you know, way before them things manifest before your eyes. You know what I mean? The music is handed down in that sense. So, you know, I don't have to write a song, you know, to say, you know, something that is happening in terms of what's happening today, you know, if you know what I mean. You know, I don't have to do that. You know, that already happened, you know, and the music is already handed down before them times here. You know what I mean? So I don't have to do that. It's real simple. I don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Jah don't put that in action, and you know, and he gave you the word, you know, to go on, you know, and put it in people's ears. You know, the ones who want to really open up them ears and listen and open up them eyes and see. You know, they'll see what we talk about. You know what I mean? It's not a just, things don't just happen just so. You know what I mean? And things happen it put in action long time ago. See?
Right. And I do believe that a lot of things are already preset, and they do happen as they are supposed to. And hopefully we all get the message of the reasoning behind those things, because
it's just
you know they do happen a lot. They happen over and over centuries of time. The same thing.
It's
more
just
so
true.
devastating.
Right. It's just true. Man, choose to ignore things. I don't want to use the word ignorant because people that that get that get carried away with by by certain people. But for the most part, people, like I said, have a tendency to not really pay attention. Put it in a mile away. If you're not paying attention, then you can't see what's really going on. But them things, them things that are going on, like I said, all the time, all around you, all the time. It's just that people only pay attention, when it really devastates them. I come right before their eyes at that moment. Then they say, "Oh wow," you know what I mean? Then they kind of wake up. You know what I mean? So that's how I see it.
Now, the song that I opened the show up with, "Set Me Free." Can you give us your interpretation of what that song was about?
It's the same thing, you're talking to the same things that me just relate to you just a minute ago. You know what I mean? Kind of open up your eyes. You know what I mean? Open your eyes. And you'll see. You'll see what going on around you. Most people are war against one another. Really, I mean, what you warring? Really, what you war for? You know what I mean? There's no warrior. There's no competition. You know what I mean? Jai's existence, and then that's it. Jai's it. There's no war. The only thing now is the trickster coming, and with his little trickery, and start to turn things, turn things, about face. I mean, he start to make things that was right, do things in a wrong way. Error start using error. You know what I mean? To distribute error in a wrong way, and people follow you, with them kind of things. You know what I mean? And because they don't get the benefit, they don't really get the benefit of the thing of the structure of righteousness, because them doing things in a wrong way still. You know what I mean? Then that's where chaos come from. What they call war. You know what I mean? I mean, I can go deeper than that, but I want to keep it a little simple so people can understand really what's going on. There's no such thing as war. It's just error still. You know what I mean? Man, error. You know what I mean? And when you have error, you know what I mean? And you can't get satisfaction out of that. So if that's what people call war, then I see different. You know what I mean? It's just an error thing. You know what I mean? You're fighting against yourself. It's almost like you're fighting against yourself. You're fighting against the structures or the laws of nature. You know what I mean? You can't fight against them forces here. If that's what you call war, you know what I mean, then that's how I see it. So I basically tell people, hey, look, man, you know what I mean, free up yourself. You know what I mean? Do things, look at things in its right structure. Follow the order, and you're free from all that. You're free from disaster, destruction. See?
Absolutely. Now I'm going to put on another song. It's called Man Redemption. And when we return, I would love for you to tell us about your home country, because I am a travel agent as well, and I've been seeing a lot of beautiful pictures, but I know, in the brochures and everything, they only cover the tourist area. So I would like you to, think about some other things that are happening in Anguilla that you could talk to us about. And we'll be right back with Jahmings and Maccow after this song.
see, I and I man was taught the very same thing. Tell you what, foolishness will do their mind, and ignorance cover them face. Righteousness is happiness, and happiness is our witness to man redemption. I pray every day. I pray man redemption. Just say, redeem yourself. Man redemption. I pray from unruliness. I mean it. Man redemption. Just say, relieve yourself. I mean it. Man redemption. I pray every day. I pray man redemption. Just say, relieve yourself. Man redemption. Just say, from unruliness. I mean it. Man redemption. I pray.
And welcome back, everybody. And we are here with our guest, Jahmings Maccow. Now, I know that you're from Anguilla, and I've never really heard much about it. But since I've been looking for places for my customers who travel to visit, I've come across Anguilla a lot. Can you tell us about Anguilla and parts of it that we probably wouldn't see in a tourist book?
It's not too much because it's a very small place. It's not too much. I'm sure most tourists who are in there can cover it, that island in a few hours because I think it's like 35 square miles. It's a very small place. But I think the sell for the island is from what is written up about it is have some of the best beaches in the world. That's what that's what was written up about it. So that's the sell really. And it's a kickback island. If you want to get away from the hustle and bustle, it's not too much. Mm-hmm. It's not really too much. To talk about it other than the beaches. They have some of the best beaches in the world. Some of the best hotels. Probably in the world too. From what was written about it. So, if that.
Wow.
Yeah. I haven't been back there. I've been back there for a little bit, so I'm not fully up to date. You know what I mean? So I'm just giving you, what I know from the past.
Well, I had thought about putting together a private concert there because we have a villa out there that we will be using, and I thought about having a private concert. How is the atmosphere in the islands when it comes to concerts? Like, I mean, is it similar to what you've seen here in the States?
Magnitude-wise, reggae is big in the area, and I believe calypso is reggae and calypso is the thing in the area, But yeah, if the show is if it's put together right, you know what I mean. It could be on the same level. Can be on the same level as here. As the
well, that sounds great. We should do okay then when I have a concert over there, then, huh?
Yeah, man. You can do things. You know what I mean? Yeah,
we were. It was really it was really beautiful to see, you know, all the different things out there. I mean, I love the beaches and the sand and the way the buildings are. And
if you're into that, you definitely will love it. You'll love the experience. Trust me on this. I mean,
yeah, I'm into that because I hate the city.
Yeah, man, you'll love it. The water is is the temperature of the water is perfect too. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think the temperature of the water is at least 75 degrees. You know, all the time, 75, 80 degrees, 75 degrees at least all the time. So it's perfect.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That sounds so delicious.
Right. check it out.
Yeah, I think when I go because we have Atlantic City over here, and that's I just have to say that it sucks. I mean, the water is just, it looks more like bath water, and the sand is just not clean, and you find more than just,
I know about all that, man. Trust me.
Yeah, you know. So when you see something like that, you're like, I miss home. Right.
Exactly.
Wow. Now, what other places have you performed in other than in New York and LA?
Canada, all over the country. I mean, getting ready to do, as a matter of fact, as I speak, I'm getting ready to do some, Midwestern states, Vegas, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas. I did them things before in the past. You know what I mean? So yeah, outside of New York City, all over the place, man. There was just a few states that I already mentioned. Still.
Okay. Now, is it just you performing, or I understand from an article I read you have other musicians with you?
Yeah, ERF. You mean my band? Yeah, my band. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jahmings, Maccow, and ERF.
So, how long have you had those guys with you?
This particular group, because I've been, working with enough people over the years. This particular group, about at least now 5 or 6 years with this particular group group of people that these are new people in the band actually that I'm working with for the last 5 or 6 years.
What were you looking for when you started, putting your band together? Like, what type of, personalities or talents were you looking for?
A musician who's dedicated, who love the music, you know what I mean? Real straightforward, you know what I mean? Just musician who really dedicated, who love the music, you know what I mean? Who's not just coming there to look for a payday, you know what I mean? Yeah, those are the kind of musicians I love playing with because, they put them soul and heart into it.
Wow. Now, do you guys have your own tour bus, or you just driving your own cars?
No, man. Just simple guys, man. You know what I mean? Keep it simple. You know what I mean? We love it. We love it them way there. You know what I mean? Because it's independent still. This is not like this is not like in the days of the major labels. You know what I mean? Where you had much less artists, and they can package. They can groom, a few artists and, and package them and give them, the whole works in terms of, protection and, in terms of, just promoting them at a high level, you know what I mean, giving them, so which will give them access to, the nice tour buses and hotels and private jets and all this other work. You know what I mean? It's different now. It's different them times. It's this right now. It's an independent thing. You know what I mean? That means to say, independent label run the industry right now. You know what I mean? So you can't have you really can't have it. You really can't promote yourself, on that level. You know what I mean? And as an independent, label or artist. You know what I mean? So. We don't have the luxury of, them private jets and things like that. You know what I mean? You know, we work for the we work for the simple people, the regular people. You know, that's who we work for. Independent artists work for. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know.
And
that's what we do. I mean, I don't have to tell you. I mean, hip hop is a prime example of that. Ask anyone the hip hop artists if them had the luxury of them things here. You know, when they start out and you hear what them say. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We work for the regular people, man. You know, our people musicians ways.
I know it should be more people doing that because I don't know about your opinion about the state of music in the industry today, but I think it could stand a little bit of revision, and people should get more into the reality of it now because I think it's too sensationalized in some ways where those up-and-coming artists think, it's going to be so easy to jump aboard, and they find out that they're like a surplus, and it's not like something you're going to get to do just like that and get those same rewards. What is your opinion about the state of the music industry?
Well, it's different. It's different, and like I said, I mean, if you have the vision as how things was in terms of how the major labels used to run things, then you have fault. You're going to be have fault too, because things it don't run that way again. You know what I mean? Like I said, everything is independently done. That means to say you have to do it. You know what I mean? You can't depend on a next guy to do it for you. That's what independent means. You know what I mean? So if you have this attitude as to come in as to somebody else you're going to rely on somebody else to go do it for you, then you might as well pack up and go home. You know what I mean? It's different. So because it's on an independent level, you know what I mean, that means to say, you know what I mean, you have to work more. You have to work hard. I just have to put it out. You have to work harder. I don't want to say struggle, you know what I mean, because I don't like that sound negative. You just have to work harder. You know what I mean? I love it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the benefit in that, if you're willing to work, and if you're a true musician and you're true to music, you know what I mean? Even though there's going to be some exploitation, like I see it all the time. You know what I mean? I see it where club owners now, they want to exploit the youth and the youthful musicians who come up and things like that. That's going to be always there. You know what I mean? You can't really make that be, a kind of blockage, a stumbling block for you. You know what I mean? You have to work through them things here. And if you work through them things, then, at the end of the day, you will be rewarded. Because the club owners them come and they go. You know what I mean? But if you're a true musician, you're gonna always be a musician, and that is my advice to any musician, who coming through in these times here. You know what I mean? Don't expect your next man to come and do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. You know what I mean? And that's how it go.
That's absolutely right. That's right.
So.
Well, I think some people get a little spoiled when they get attention from, the major leagues. And then, I've come across a lot of artists that were doing that, and now they're all independent. So it's so much harder for them now because they know what they got when they had major support. Now they are on their own. So. Well,
like I said, I mean, the ball game changed. Because right now, even even if you want a major label attention, you know what I mean? Because the ball game changed. You know what I mean? You have to be you have to be an independent label first. And the way the majors do it now is they go, if you reach your particular status, you know what I mean, then they start looking at you and they come in and they gobble up your labels and then but to say walk into a record, start out as an artist and you bill a them and you walk into a major label and hand it off to to some A&R person and expect that thing, you're gonna reap profits from that. Them days gone. You know what I mean? You have to have your own. You have to actually have your own label. You know what I mean? And your label have to be selling X amount of units. Before they even look upon you. So the ball game changed. You know what I mean? And most artists who was on the major label, you know what I mean? I don't want to call names. You know what I mean? Struggling now because the ball game changed. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So of course, if the ball game change, the artists, them on the major label, of course things are gonna change for them. You know what I mean? And you know, because them the days of of luxury and you know is gone. Them days is gone. You know what I mean? You know, you either get with what's going on right now in terms of you know, working just like the ordinary the ordinary indie person, independent musician. You know, you either get you either get with that you know, like I said, pack up and go home. You know, or you can cry the blues all you want, but not gonna change nothing. I mean, you know, the whole industry changed, man. Like I said, it's an independent label, independent labeler and musician thing right now. You know, them run things right now. It's an independent thing. You know what I mean? It's not a major label thing anymore. You know what I mean?
No.
That day's gone.
Now, the internet has been played a big role in helping a lot of independent artists, and I also see that a lot of major artists are trying to monopolize the internet resources as well because they're not getting anywhere else. How has the internet helped you as far as like your sales and your fans and, you know, getting your music out there?
Oh, big time, man. Big time. Big time. Really big time when it comes to that. You know, because like I said, I mean, all that is part of the independent label packaging. You know what I mean? You know, you can most independent artists build them label right on the internet. You know what I mean? You know, and reach out, and that's where they reach out to their fans and for all. It's different. I mean, the internet is a big tool right now because not like before where you have to package you know, your demo and package your CDs and send them overseas. You know to some marketing company across you know, to get things going for you. You can do it right. You can do it right on the internet. You see? So you know,
right.
the internet is part of the, you know, the independent, you know, artist and label packaging. You know, it's all part of it. You can't exclude that. It's part of the independent thing. So it's just another tool, you know, for the independent artists and independent labels. You know.
That's so true. And I love the internet at this point because it's growing and growing, and it's offering a lot of opportunities for, you know, technology to help artists and also to help other businesses and other, you know, creative works. I mean, I've seen artists who are, you know, actual painters and book artists and, I mean, so many different things you can do to promote yourself on there. So
Right.
It's like everybody should really participate in it and just get to know it. Some people are scared of getting on there and thinking they're going to get scammed or somebody's going to steal their music. I mean, do you just do your research and educate yourself on it like you would anything else?
Right. You know, it don't just help. It doesn't just help musicians per se, but just like you just mentioned, you know, other artists, painters, and stuff like that. I mean, this is a great tool for them, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, everything become independent now. You know, you don't wait around for some guy, you know, with some deep pocket on, you know, on Wall Street to come and do things for you no more. You know what I mean?
No.
You know,
they're almost extinct.
Right, exactly. I mean, exactly. You know what I mean? Things change. You know what I mean? And you know, with change comes, you know, you have the tools at your fingertips. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, if you're an independent, you know, from Jump Street, you know them things. You know, say that you have to do it for yourself. You know what I mean? You know, so.
That's true.
You know, internet is a great thing, man. A great thing. One of the greatest things that come along in terms of, you know.
So what do you have planned for your career now? You know, what is the next move for you?
I don't make plans, man. I mean, you know, I just deliver. You know, I mean, I like I tell you before, and I'm serious about that. I mean, this is not a Jahmings Maccow thing. You know what I mean? Because if I make plans, if I start making plans, what's going to happen is, you know what I mean, I'm going to be disappointed. You know what I mean? Because, you know, based on my limited way of thinking, you know, man-limited way of thinking, you know what I mean? If things don't happen, you know, at a particular time, in a particular time span, you know what I mean, you know, then he see failure. I don't see it that way. You know what I mean? You know, I'm led by spirit. You know what I mean? There's no limitation. You know what I mean? There's no limit. You know what I mean? So I can start a project today And maybe 10 years from now, you know what I mean, you might see the fruits of that. You know what I mean? But, you know, that 10 years is just like a microsecond to Jah. You see what I say? We don't deal with time, man. You
right.
know what I mean? I don't deal with time. You know, them things is set up by, you know, the tricksters, you know, to manipulate people, just manipulate people's feelings and things like that. You know what I mean? Give them false hope and expectation as a form. You know, and when you throw people into them kind of mindset, you can control people them kind of way there. You know what I mean? You know, by giving them all kind of false hope. You know what I mean? Man need to really ground himself and realize, hey, listen, man, it's not a man-made thing. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's a spiritual thing. And when you do things from the spirit, and you know, say that you is spirit, and you also, you also is a physical man. Then when you combine them two entities together, you realize, and you realize, say, well, listen, you know what I mean? You know, it's not a man-made thing again. You know, it's not them false thing. It's not the manipulation of, you know, where a guy come around and, like I said, the tricksters come around and tell you, you have to do things this way at a particular time. You know, and them kind of things. You don't have to abide by them kind of little foolishness anymore. Once you identify yourself as a spirit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's
right.
You know, it's not a time thing, man. I don't set timetables. So, you know, in answer to your question, I just don't deal with them things. I don't set timetables. I just work. You know what I mean? I just deliver. You know, however long it take me, you know, wherever it take me, I don't get disappointment. Them days they're gone. You know, can't get disappointment because I don't set priorities for myself.
Mhm.
You know, so that's how I approach. That's my approach. That's always my approach.
That's a pretty good sense of, of freedom for something like that, because then you don't have any.
You have freedom all the time. You have freedom all the time. That's the next thing. That's the next mistake again. You know, the tricksters come in and tell you, you don't, start setting boundaries and says, start limiting you, by manipulating the mind. You know what I mean? But you're always free, man. You have free will all the while. You know what I mean? As long as you don't give that free will to somebody else to manipulate and control you. You know what I mean? And that's my approach. You know what I mean? I don't make nothing frighten me. You know what I mean? Not in terms of how society look at things.
Well, I want to go ahead and put on another track called Free the Pain. I hope everyone enjoys this. I'm sure you will, as I did. And we'll be right back with our guest, Jahmings Maccow. And if anybody wants to call in with a comment, or if you're just listening in, just enjoy yourself for the night, be sure you download the show when it's over so that you can keep it on your iPod and also on your computer for your regular Windows Media Player or whatever it is that you use for your music. So let us go ahead and enjoy this great song.
Ever
a very nice song there. Very nice song.
Now,
I just enjoy reggae music because it has such a comfortable and fresh flow to it, and it just puts you in the mind to relax. Now, is there any other kind of music that you ever listen to?
Blues. You know, I like blues. I mean, I really like blues because blues is kind of like reggae music. You know what I mean? You know, it's a good mix.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it speaks to everyday life if you listen to blues. You know what I mean? And like I like the kind of rhythmic. I play guitar. So I'm influenced a lot by blues. Let's put it that way. I love blues. I can't say too much more than that.
I know, I love blues too. I love blues, I love classical music, and I love jazz, and I do love a lot of Latin music too. Depends on the mood. So, I mean, music to me has an influence on people's moods and actions as well.
I agree with you. I mean, in truth be told, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you really, if you really put yourself into the music, it don't matter what it is really. I mean, if you really put what you're supposed to put into the music, then I enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's a universal thing, man.
Now, if you were able to do, say, a seminar or something in front of a classroom or a room of young people who are trying to get into music as independent artists or actually choosing reggae music, what would you advise them of?
First of all, the first thing, is to be a servant. You know what I mean? Don't do things for you, because if you do things for you, you're gonna get disappointed real quick. You know what I mean? So you got to be a servant. That's the first thing I would tell anyone. Take yourself out of the equation. You know what I mean? And love the music. Be a servant to the music. You get more out of it that way. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's something that I really don't know if it's something that you can teach. You know what I mean? To tell you the truth, because some people, some people set out to play music. And it's different. You know what I mean? You set out to play music, then you have expectation. You know what I mean? But but if you come true, to really serve, you know what I mean? In that sense, it's different. I mean, you don't set. It's not something you set out to do. It's something that's given to you to do. It's different. So when something's given to you to do, then you don't put expectation on you don't put limitation on yourself. Not expectation. You don't put limitation on yourself. But when you come in, set out to do something, then you start to put limitation on yourself. So I will have to approach it from that point of view. The ones who come in, who want, who set out to do it, I say, well, okay, here's what to expect. You know what I mean? You can expect disappointment. You know what I mean? Because if you set them boundaries, and you know what I mean, and because things don't always run them, and you don't meet them expectation, then you're gonna be disappointed. So my advice would be, you come in and and to serve. You know what I mean? Serve, really.
Mm-hmm.
Serve the music.
Well, I'll keep that in mind, because I have two children one is already into rap music and gets out there to perform, and the other one wants to go get a guitar and start being a guitar player. And I tell them from the experiences that I have and that I come across as far as, the artists that I meet, not to expect a miracle to just get out there and be like the next big thing, but just go do what your heart leads you to do.
Right.
But always have something, to take care of yourself. I always tell them it's always good to have another type of profession to take care of yourself in case, things run a little slow for a minute.
Well, you know,
because if you don't know anything else, I mean,
right.
you're gonna have a hard time if you run to one of those little dry points and you're not making any money and you can't pay any, where you're living at and stuff like that.
That's one of the first things I would try to not instill into a youth. You know what I mean? Because that's fear. You know, that's part. I'll have to teach him the right way. You know, the tricksters are gonna always come in. You know, that's the one they call the tricksters hold. You know what I mean? Because to trick you into believing that, you know, that things is dire. You know, frighten you then, terror then. I mean, to terrorize you, them kind of way. No, you know what I mean? You have to ground yourself. If you really and truly come true to do something, an art. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You really can't stray from that by some guy coming and trying to, you know, manipulate your mind. You can't have anyone manipulate, you know, what you're trying to do. You know, because from the moment you do that, you lose the battle. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, at the end of the day, you're gonna wind up a miserable individual and make people around you miserable. So the best thing to do is to really stick with what you come true to do, no matter what. That would be my advice. And do not let the trickster get into your head. You know what I mean? Because from the moment that's the aim of the trickster. From the moment he get into your head, he try to make and the trickster is not a trickster just to be a trickster. No. He wants you to be a slave to him. We always remember that. You know what I mean? So you have to. You kind of have to ride through, and I know the tricksters in so-called high places in society. You know what I mean? They them really control the society. Them the one that I'm really talking to. You know what I mean? Do not give in to the tricksters. Change the ball game. You have to start. You know, if you make yourself an example of that, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you'll be rewarded much more than the guy who gave in, to the trickster. Because like I said, at the end of the day, him gonna wind up, on the miserable end of things. So that will be my advice. You know what I mean? And,
I thank you so much for that. That is some important advice for everybody that's listening, that's interested in getting into the industry, and everybody that has people in their lives that are, just trying to find themselves and to get into it. So thank you so much for that information.
Yeah, they don't just do it for the money, man. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I mean, you get that's gonna wear off real quick. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Do it because for the love of it. When you do it for the love of it, that means you become a servant. You know what I mean? That's what you really come to do. And it's not everybody. It's not everybody come to be a musician. Whatever in life you come to do, just stick to it. Not just music. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whatever you do in life, right. And if it's your passion, just stick with it. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, right. You'll be rewarded. You know what I mean? That is my advice.
Well, we have about 10 seconds left in our show, and I want to spend that time to say thank you, Jahmings, for coming by to talk with us and share a part of you with us. And we enjoyed your music. I hope to have you back on again. And we look forward to, getting all your information out to our listeners. If they go to our website at www.wmznindieradio.ning.com, Jahmings is on the front page. So, and then, of course, you can download the show when we are done, and you can keep it and play it in the car, wherever you want to. And it's been a pleasure, Jahmings. Thank you so much for coming with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And I hope that you have a great weekend, because I just realized this is Friday. Time to party.
Same to you, Rwanda.
Thank you.
And it was an Irish show, really. I mean, thanks for having me, and I really had a good time.
Thank you, and I so appreciate you being here. You have a great weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.